Hey guys, it's time to begin Bollocks this evening. We are off to a wonderful start here on this beautiful Tuesday. We have trivia tonight, so we're super excited about that.
We do. I've been practicing all day.
Out at Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue on State Road 16. Thank you to Pam, Clay, and Richie, the whole crew out there. We're excited to get started out there. Our first trivia in a month.
Yeah.
So I think this is about the longest I've ever went without doing a trivia show.
I've been shaking a little bit.
I got a little withdrawals going on here. But Lenny, how you doing today, man?
All good. All good. Julie and I went for a very long and delightful walk, and it was kind of breezy and cool. It wasn't a ghastly 100 degrees, so that was nice. We knocked off 10,000 steps this afternoon.
10,000?
10,000.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
No. We walked from our house all the way to see how they're building up the Publix and back.
Okay.
A big, long circle.
All right. Of course, I have the reads completely ready. I'm going to let you do that one, too.
Thank you.
So, Blake, how are you back there, man?
I'm doing great over here. I'm trying my best to pay attention to this show, while also at the same time pay attention to what's going on in the news right now, because the Diddy trial. So four out of the five counts have reached a verdict.
But we don't know what that verdict is yet.
No, we don't know what that verdict is.
Okay. All right. So you're on Diddy update.
Diddy, yes. Diddy watch
The question is, did he or didn't he?
Did he or didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah. He might just slide on by. All right. Here we
I
go.
thought they confiscated all that stuff.
No, he's got hideaways, I'm sure.
Think he's got stock in Astroglide?
Costco doesn't have a good return policy on baby oil.
No. I don't even know what type of oil it is. Baby oil is like, please don't bring us into this.
They were using brand name Astroglide, according to some of the articles I read. Astroglide,
okay.
Yeah.
Because, didn't Kool-Aid end up suing all the news?
Because of Flavor Aid?
Because it was Flavor Aid and it wasn't Kool-Aid?
Oh, wow. I would, yeah.
And now everyone says, don't drink the Kool-Aid?
Well.
Yeah. But it was flavor.
That was Jonestown.
It was, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They sued the news about that because it was not Kool-Aid at any time. It was Flavor Aid.
Right.
They're like, that wasn't us. So
yeah, it's still, but that is still in the lexicon.
50 years later?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Still in the lexicon.
Yep.
All right. This should be in your lexicon. If it is not, when you go to buy a car, you need to call Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine. Their goal is to make sure your time and experience buying a car is stress-free, fun, and enjoyable. Bozard is a family-owned Ford dealership that has been in business since 1949. Bozard Ford Lincoln has been a recipient of numerous dealer awards, including being ranked #1 automotive dealership in the nation by Dealer Rater. #1. Bozard Ford also has won back-to-back President's Awards, which is the highest honor given by Ford Motor Company. Check them out today online at bozardford.com.
Opening their doors in 2008, Brightway Insurance, the Casey agency, has proudly stood by their customers through hurricanes, major floods, hail, and fire. Through these events, the agency has become much-needed insurance resource in times of trouble and hardship. Honesty and integrity are their pillars of their core values, says owner Ashley Casey. We pride ourselves on being insurance experts while developing strategies that help our clients meet their insurance needs. We truly enjoy the relationships that we've forged, and the office has a real love for St. Augustine, which inspires us all to do our best. Or be our best. Thank you, Melania. Actually, she didn't have R. She was just be best.
Yeah, you kind of left that hanging out there, by the way.
Yes, all right.
All right, I'm going to see if I can not leave this hanging out there and finish.
All right.
Finish strong. All right. The St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum set sail for an adventure at the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, home to the world's largest and most authentic collection of pirate artifacts. Explore over 800 relics across 40 immersive exhibits, including Thomas II's original pirate chest, Blackbeard's blunderbuss, and gold from the Queen Anne's Revenge. You'll even see one of only 3 authentic Jolly Rogers flags.
Your turn.
This is why I can't make fun of you when I do this.
Because you know what goes around.
I'm going to flub it up.
There we go.
Flags, that is, left in the world. Curated by Pat Croce and the Croce family. It's a journey through real pirate history right in downtown St. Augustine at 12 South Castillo Drive. Come experience the golden age of piracy. Arr.
Arr. Experience the art of Italian dining at St., nestled in the heart of historic St. Augustine. From handmade pastas to rich risottos and indulgent tiramisu. Actually, that was somebody's go-to this morning. Mm-hmm. Every dish blends authentic Italian flavor with modern elegance. Sip a craft cocktail, savor seasonal ingredients, and enjoy breathtaking views from our second-floor balcony or rooftop patio, where you can take in the bayfront and even spot the lighthouse on a clear day. At Saint, every meal is a celebration. Join us and elevate your dining experience. Think those balcony tables are going fast for Friday?
Oh, yeah. No, I bet it's going to be amazing on Friday if you're up there. All right. And we got to give a shout out to all our other sponsors. We have A to Z Roofing, Anastasia, and Moultrie Creek Diners. Mr. Electric of St. Augustine. We talked about Brightway today. A Solar Stick, Bear Kresge and Associates, Powell Heating and Air, Meehan's Irish Pub, A.D. Davis Construction, and Land Title of America. Thank you guys for being a part of what we're doing here. And we got a fun show today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
And don't forget Kaiser, he feeds us good.
Kaiser the man. Yep. We're going to get Kaiser in here on one of these afternoons.
Yep, I think so.
Maybe we'll get him in on the wager wire, see if he's any better at it than we are. So
he'd go heavy Red Sox, heavy Bears.
Yeah, I bet against his Red Sox today. All right, I have 5 topics listed. You have like 7 over there.
Well, this is just expanding on one. I only really have 4.
This is like a 4-hour show.
Nice. Let's expand.
No, we got to get out of here.
We got to
get to trivia.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is almost the weekend. We only got like 17 more days to go to the weekend.
And it's not just any Tuesday. It's 7/1/2025, which is another Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day, which is one of our topics today.
Absolutely.
So I guess we're starting off with Bobby Bonilla.
We were going to give Blake the choice, but knowing who he is.
It's too late. You've already thrown it out there.
All right.
Look what's on the TV, Lenny. Look who it is.
I have to put my glasses on. Is that the boy, the man himself?
That's Bobby Bonilla.
It is.
He's $1.2 million richer.
Oh, yes, he is.
He gets that every year until 35. 2035.
Yep.
When did it go into effect? When was
It went into effect in 2011, yeah.
So he gets that money every year. That's a nice retirement plan.
Yes, it is.
His agent should be. I mean, I'm assuming
he did it himself.
Oh, he did it. He didn't have an agent.
He may have had an agent, but he was the one who came up with this.
Yeah, but I'm assuming his agent who worked on that contract still getting a cut.
Well, that's not bad either.
10%
of that every July 1st.
It's probably
less than 120K.
Yeah, people talk about the sports agents getting 10%. These big contracts, they don't get 10%. So
yeah.
So,
too bad.
Yeah, they don't get 10%. It would be wonderful if they did, but yeah, they don't get 10%.
But Bobby's not the only one. I mean, he started a trend.
Yeah.
It actually might have been Saberhagen who started the trend.
Deferred money, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think Saberhagen was kind of the first deferred guy, and
he was the inspiration.
Bonilla's the one that really stands out.
And Brett Saberhagen was no
slouch. Blake tried to kill off Brett Saberhagen, so he told us he was dead before.
Really, I was going. Yeah. I don't remember that happening.
I guess I accidentally confused him with Dan Quisenberry for some reason, even though I probably shouldn't.
Oh yeah, that's a completely different pitching style.
Yeah.
If you're going to confuse Quisenberry with somebody, it would have been Kent DeColvey.
Right, wasn't Quiz sidearm?
Yeah, he was a submarine guy, and he was a relief pitcher. Yeah. So those two kind of match up.
Saberhagen just liked to throw firecrackers in the locker room.
Yeah, well, he threw heat.
Oh yeah,
from the mound.
Yeah.
So what was it, 86 World Series they won?
Is that in the Mets? He threw in again.
Was it 85 or 86 at the?
The Mets won.
Mets was 86.
Okay, so it was 85.
Yes, so it's 85 was when the Royals won. They were in the World Series again earlier in 1980, but that was against Pete Rose and the Phillies.
The Phillies, yeah. But Saberhagen, I think, won MVP. With the team that had an aging George Brett on that team in '85.
Yeah. I mean, also you can also argue that Don Dakinger should have got an MVP though for his blown call.
Oh. So yeah, stick with the negative or the positive negative Nelly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Saberhagen pitched his ass off.
Right.
So yeah. But I mean, he did win the MVP, right?
Yeah. Let me check.
So today Bobby Bonilla got a check for $1,193,248.20.
Sorry, I rounded up to 1.2.
I know. So does everybody else. Plus, he's getting that with 8% interest, so it's pretty interesting. And it was for 25 years. And it'll go until 2035. But that pales in comparison. Matt Scherzer, who's still pitching on what I think is Max. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you said Matt.
I think
you changed his name.
Well, okay.
Did you change his name?
No.
Blake, did he change his name?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Scherzer
Yeah, because
His friends call him Max.
Yeah, Max. He beat the Mets a lot, so you're trying to change his name.
I would like to do that. He didn't pitch for us.
Yeah.
He's still pitching for Toronto. He's still working. Yet on July, and all these guys get paid on July 1st, believe it or not.
Okay.
So that's a tweak in
kind
that.
of the trend.
Yep. So
Saberhagen too?
Saberhagen gets from 2004, 25 years, $250,000 a year.
Oh, so
it's a mere $250K.
He's only mostly dead.
Right. It's a mere $250K a year.
Yeah.
You buy a new car.
Yeah.
But Scherzer
That's a nice car.
gets $105 million in total, paid through 28. So he's only got 3 years left on that.
Mm-hmm.
Manny Ramirez,
but he's making money on the other team.
Right, but he's paying, right? Yeah,
that's from a different team.
Yeah, no, that's not from the. Yeah. He's playing for Toronto. Yeah, not from Toronto.
Yeah.
No.
That's from the.
I think
Nationals?
Detroit. I think it might be Nats. It might be the Nats.
I think it's from Nats.
The Nationals deal.
Yeah.
Manny Ramirez gets $24.2 million from the Boston Red Sox every year until 26. Chris Davis, maybe it's 24 in total. Chris Davis from the Baltimore Orioles gets $59 million a year, $59 million for 15 years, and it's broken down. This year and last year, he got $9.16 million.
Oh, he's going to have to get a part-time job.
Well, it's going to wind down. He's going to be, when he gets older, he didn't do this. He did it in reverse. He gets $3.5 million in 26 through 32.
Okay.
And in 23, 24, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37, it's a mere $1.4 million.
He's gonna have to make sure that money works up front.
Got a big one for you. Mm-hmm. Shoei, who is along with Aaron Judge.
His is crazy.
Yep. Along with Aaron Judge, they're already locked in for their World Series starts, their All-Star game starts. Mm-hmm. So you can't even vote for them because they've already won. Mm-hmm. Shoei gets $2 million a year for the next 10 years from the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. He gets $68 million a year starting in 2034.
$68 million a year?
A year in 2034.
So he's only getting $2 million right now?
Yes.
Yep. And then from 34 until 43, he gets $68 million a year.
That's crazy.
And if he doesn't hire somebody who's going to embezzle money from him and bet poorly, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay.
Yep.
I think he's a pretty smart dude.
He also does, that's not counting investments.
He's not good at picking translators, but he's a pretty smart good dude.
But that's not counting all their endorsements they have. I mean, he's a big endorser out in L.A. And in Japan in particular.
In
Japan, he's huge.
The Dodgers, I mean, that was part of the reason why the Dodgers knew they were okay, because they actually came up with a TV deal in Japan.
Really? Okay.
So like that was part of how they're
hedging their bet.
How they're paying the bills.
Hedging their bet.
So,
well, just to put it in perspective, you got three of the better players in baseball today. PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, the number one draft pick of the Mets, and we could be using him right now. $771,000 a year. That's all he gets.
Who's that?
Pete Crow Armstrong, plays for the Cubs.
I don't even know who he is.
Oh, he is the next up-and-coming thing, baby. Okay. Look into him. PCA? Oh, yeah. He was number one draft choice for the Mets.
He's in my division.
They traded him to Javi. They traded him for Javi Baez.
That'd be like you rooting for Acuna right now.
No.
He's in my same division.
Well, I can because I got the brother.
Yeah. You got the brother.
Who I could probably out hit.
You don't have the good one.
No. We
don't have the good.
We have the brother. I could probably out hit him. I just can't outfield him or outrun him.
You got Tommy Aaron, not Hank.
Exactly. I don't got the good Alou brother. Your buddy Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh. Yeah. He's making $875,000 a year.
LSU kid.
Yep. And dating the gymnastic star there.
Yeah.
And Andy Paez on the Dodgers is making $770,000 too. I mean, these are probably the remains of their rookie contracts.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
In comparison, Bobby Bonilla is sitting home and getting a million too, and these guys are sweating it out for a mere $750,000.
Josh is saying PCA is amazing. No.
Yep.
There's no one on the Cubs. Nope.
Don't eat those words, Cubs. Josh. Don't you worry. I'm with you, baby.
The only person I root for that's in our division is Skeens, who's the LSU, and I never think of the Pirates as a threat.
They crushed the Mets this weekend.
Yeah. So, no, that's who I want them to beat, because the Mets could be in the wild card race.
Mets are leading the wild card right now. They fell out of first place. They're two back.
That's what I'm saying.
But we'll make it up there. We got a tough game.
Reds gotta get there, and I need the Cubs to really fall back.
All right, we might need to save this for tomorrow for wager wire.
Yeah, wager wire, but
Because we got other stuff to talk about.
All right, so I think we've killed that horse, and also King Griffey Jr. is getting paid by the Reds too from our side.
Yeah.
But all right, topics I have. This one's left over from yesterday. Get out of town. What you got?
Jimmy Swaggert.
And deporting Elon.
Good luck with that.
Blake, where do you want to go?
I'm going to go with Jimmy Swaggert.
Okay.
Jimmy Swaggert.
Well, we were talking about him yesterday when we were talking to our friend John was here yesterday, and we go on tangents, and Jimmy Swaggert's name came up, and his fall from grace was prostitutes, apparently. So Jimmy Swaggert was the big.
Let's go with working women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Women who have had
working women
in the oldest profession.
In the oldest profession.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Okay. He was a Pentecostal preacher. Had to look up Pentecostal, which led to 14 other rabbit holes.
Yes.
But and he was the big kahuna of the Assembly of God Ministries, and he was raking in gajillions. And
hand over fist.
Oh yeah, and he was the big kahuna televangelist. Well, Jimmy Swaggart, who was related to Jerry Lee Lewis and Mickey Gillia's cousins, was bringing in $100 million a year, and this is back in the 1980s.
Yeah.
So that was real money then.
No, that's real money now.
It's true.
I mean, I'll take $100 million a year.
When I play the Powerball,
if anyone wants to step up as a sponsor for $100 million, we can talk.
And we'll wash your car.
Yeah, and feet.
Very Jesus.
No shame in this
Very
game.
Jesus.
No shame.
I like that. Yeah, but no doubt about it.
We're talking about
Pope why can we? Yeah, it's good money.
Yeah,
it's good money. So in 1988. He got defrocked by the Assembly of God because a fellow rival evangelist named Marvin Gorman, ratted him out for cohorting with prostitutes or working women or older professional
working women.
Right, older professional women. Right,
working women.
Right.
I mean, they could have been younger too.
We have a guild, Coyote, out in San Francisco. Yeah, no doubt about it. Jimmy Swaggart ratted out Marvin Gorman for having an affair, an adulterous affair with the wife of a fellow pastor.
Okay.
And Swaggart made it public.
Okay.
And Gorman lost his whole
Those who
pulpit.
live in glass houses.
He who is without sin, let him throw the first stone.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, apparently that was a boomerang because it came right back to Jimmy Swaggart. And in 1988, Marvin Gorman hired a private investigator, and he followed the guy, and he took photographs of him, Swaggart, going into a motel with a prostitute,
working woman,
and coming back out with that same woman when she finished work.
Working woman.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
Well,
Jimmy
didn't go over well. So
his meltdown on air was pretty bogus.
Well, because basically what he said was, I have moral failings, and he confessed to that without going into any details.
No, he didn't.
So he got sanctioned by the Assemblies of God, which was the overseeing organization of these Pentecostal ministers, and they suspended him for 3 months or so.
Yeah. He took his God card.
Right. But then in 1991. He found another working woman.
Yeah.
And
I'm pretty sure he never lost them.
No. And then, by the way, we were talking about Jim Baker yesterday as well. Jimmy Swaggart was the guy who exposed Jim Baker's dalliances.
Oh.
So, he was
trying to take out the competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there was and the interesting thing is the working lady, Deborah Murphy, that's Murphee, a very clever spelling, said Swaggart was a regular customer, but we never had intercourse. He just paid me to pose naked.
Yep. All right.
So,
and he probably talked about pornography in his sermons.
I'm sure, but he got then finally suspended.
The oldest major corporations are religion.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, go to France, go to any place in Europe, and who was controlling the money?
Oh, yeah.
Was the churches.
Sure. And the real estate.
So, and the real estate, and it's still not that far from that today. It still exists, and I'm not opposed to religion, but you can't say that they don't have a lot of chinks in their armor.
Right. Well, again, he who without sin.
Yeah.
The glass house situation is right there. The interesting thing is in doing the little bit of research on this to find out what a Pentecostal preacher was, brought me to Pentecost.
Are these the guys who talk to snakes and stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you know what that is? It's, there's faith healing, but glossolalia, Glossolia.
Okay.
That's easy for me to say, not really.
Yeah. Blah.
Which, by the way, is fine. It shouldn't be, because you know what that is? That's speaking in tongues.
Okay.
So that's why
you're not supposed to understand.
So that's why that was that.
If you're understanding it, you're possessed and evil.
But Pentecost, which is also Whit Sunday, was the 7th Sunday after Easter, and it celebrates the descent of the Holy Spirit on the apostles. What I found interesting is that linked me right up to Shavuot.
What's Shavuot?
Shavuot is the same thing in Judaism, because that celebrates the reveal of the Ten Commandments coming down from Mount Sinai.
Okay.
So that's those two things that are.
I think that's one of the best scenes in history of the world. You remember it?
These three.
The Lord gave us the 15th, and he drops one of them. The 10 Commandments.
Mel Brooks was just he's a genius.
Yeah. So,
he's still around, right? And Bancroft passed away, but I think Mel is still around.
He's still kicking.
Who's still cooking?
Mel Brooks.
Melvin Kaminsky. Yeah.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks.
Yeah. He's using his military name.
That's right. His real name. Exactly. I'm very good friends with his nephew.
All right. Before we go on to the next topic, I gotta say good luck to Maeve, who's on her way to gymnastics today. So I want to make sure. I heard she's listening, so I want to make sure love her and knock it out of the park at gymnastics.
Yeah. Good luck, maybe.
Yep.
Go tumble salt well.
Yes.
What is she doing?
Huh?
Balance beam? Rings?
Oh no, they do everything, and I don't know whether or not it's bar day or if it's balance beam day or if it's floor day.
Wow.
So they do.
So she's an all-arounder.
Well, everyone's an all-arounder at that point.
Well,
so
you know what?
We get a lot of cartwools in our living room.
They're closer to the ground, so it's a lot easier.
There's a lot of cartwheels and a little bit of rug burn as well.
Yeah, and round offs, and you could be in the way. The dog could be in the way. All of us have taken a round off to the knee or the thigh.
Well, I'll show you. Clear the way.
Yep. No.
Maybe you got to say clear the way.
And that's kind of what she does.
Okay.
So, all right. So real quick Diddy update for you right here. So basically, the judge was upset at the jurors for not reaching a decision on the first charge, the racketeering conspiracy charge. So, but it sounds like the jurors are done for the day. They don't want to deliberate for the rest of the day.
Oh wow! So there's no
announcement today.
No announcement today, even though they figured out 5 of the 6.
4 out of the 5.
4 out of the 5.
Yes.
Okay.
And
4 out of the 5.
And from what I've read, the jury is kind of running that trial. We're tired. We're going home. And the judges, the judges bringing them back and letting them go and bringing them back. They're all trying to get out of there before the holiday, though. That's the whole thing. They do not want to be, dealing with this on Monday.
Get your racketeering stuff together.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so I think that's enough on the whole Swaggert and the religion thing there. So we still have Get Out of Town. You have, what do you have now?
I got Noisy Hotels in L.A.
Noisy Hotels and Deporting Elon. So where are we at?
Let's go with Deporting Elon.
Deporting Elon.
It's like we never knew him.
So Trump might be a little outmatched on this one. He usually is in a position of power.
Right.
Elon is the richest man in the world. He hires tens of thousands of people. He has the ability to pick up the phone to the second richest, third richest, fourth richest, and fifth richest man and say, hey, I don't like, because already two out of those 4 already don't like Trump.
Yeah, but the other 2 were at his inauguration. Actually, I think they were all at his inauguration.
These are businessmen.
Okay. Right.
Elon benefits them working with him more than Trump if they all go together. If Elon recruits just Bezos
Yeah.
alone, the two of theirs wealth is worth more than like 98% of the countries of the world.
Yeah.
Okay? So the power of that, Trump claims to be worth $10 billion. He's worth about 3.
He's working on it. Believe me, he's scamming his way up there.
Elon is worth $360 billion.
Something like that. Depends on the day of the week and
Okay.
Tesla stock.
So, what is the rule about, like, if minutes were $1 million, it would be like 3 weeks, and if $1 billion were a minute, it would be like 36 years.
Right.
There's a huge gap between 3 billion and 360.
Oh yeah.
And if this man says, you know what, I'm going to throw 40 billion against you and against everything you stand for in the next election in the 2-year span, it's going to have a huge impact on our country.
No, I was listening to somebody today who was saying that the Republican primary voters are so Trump drunk that, I like that. I could coin that phrase, that it won't, if Musk champions primary adversaries for Trump's loyalists, this pundit was saying that Trump will still persevere.
There's not enough there. The numbers aren't there.
All right.
The numbers just aren't there. I mean, the evangelicals might stay with him on this, but the businessmen, they're going where the money's at and how it behooves them.
Right, but we're just talking about the base Republican voters who are the primary voters.
Yeah.
So they're not.
Guess where our country's run by?
I understand that.
The money. It's not run by. It's not run by the religion. It's not run by. And it always has been that way.
I agree with that.
The money runs our country.
But it can't explain the Trump drunk voters.
Trump drunk voters. Like, I can tell you right now, I kind of can get behind. But if sitting in the middle, guess who I'm siding with?
Oh yeah,
I'm siding with Elon.
Oh yeah,
because I think he's better for our economy and where we're at.
And he's also proven successful because you ever have a Trump steak? It's more like a rump steak.
Yeah, it's awful.
Boy, these are just flowing.
Yeah.
He bankrupt casinos.
Yeah.
Doesn't pay his vendors.
Well,
it's tough. But he's got a phone coming out. But I think apparently he's using all the sales from all the networks.
Yeah,
so that should be okay.
Yeah, but he's also announced. I think he announced yesterday that he's also coming out with Trump Victory Cologne as well.
Victory Cologne.
Yes.
Well, that stinks.
Yeah.
Get it? Stinks. Never mind.
Yeah, you should have stopped it. Trump drunk.
Yeah, I like that one. That'll come back. But yeah, so the president has threatened to say, Elon created Doge. And again, this is like Frankenstein and the monster because Elon created Doge, and Trump is thinking
he thought he could control Elon and control Elon's opinions, which he thinks that with every human being he deals with. He believes that his opinion is the only one that matters. He doesn't take anyone else's into account. And when he can't control people, is when they're gone. What was the guy's name? Baird.
On Fox News?
No, Baird. It was his in his cabinet last go round.
Oh, you had Rex Tillerson.
No, it started with a B.
Give me one sec.
What was his position?
I think he was like the guy who was his right hand man. So.
You're thinking John Kelly?
No.
Oh, Steve Bannon?
Not Bannon. No.
Secretary of State or
that was Tillerson.
Yeah, it was Tillerson. Yeah, but I mean, all those people that left him and he kind of pushed them out is because he couldn't control them.
Right.
So if
Mark Meadows?
No, I'll find it.
Okay.
So I mean,
hey, Alan.
Yeah, but I mean, if he can't control you, then you have a short thing.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, if Elon puts his mind to going after Trump and going after the Republican Party's in trouble. So
We'll get Blake on that, Bobby, and see if we can't get some sound effects in here.
yeah.
But Trump is, and it's an interesting concept. The fact that Elon creates this whole Department of Government Efficiency, and now Trump's going to turn it back or threatening to turn it back on Elon. And he said he should be careful because if I want to go after him, he's going to go after him. Mm-hmm. So, the president has said Musk gets more subsidy than any human being in history. And, without those subsidies, he'd have to close shop and move back to South Africa.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Are you talking about William Barr, the Attorney General? Was it him?
Oh, but Barr made it to the end.
Yeah, Barr.
Oh,
yeah,
no, you're
Barr.
thinking of Jeff Sessions.
No. Does that start with a B, Lenny?
No, but he was the guy that went, he was the little elf on the shelf that went
It's Barr. It's Barr.
Yeah, but Barr made it to the end of the term.
Yeah, but he was he back this time?
No,
And he told no one to vote for him.
Right, because Barr said, what you're doing is illegal, and, I'm the Attorney General of the United States.
Keeping up with the damn conversation.
I'm with you, baby, but, but he didn't leave. He didn't push him out.
Yeah, he did.
Barr was the Attorney General for the American people, not for the president.
Who picks the Attorney General?
Right.
The president.
Right. Who has his
Then
own...
what the hell are you talking about, Lenny?
It
starts with a B. Is it Jennings? It starts with a B. Is it Tillerson? What the hell?
Well, we got there. Thank you, Blake. Took a while.
It did.
But Barr, who's a sharp man, and Trump asked him to do certain things. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Correct.
And what happens next go around? He's not even in the conversation. And Barr's like, this is not a guy who should be president.
Right. And he wouldn't have taken the job the second time if it was offered to him.
No way. No way.
However, our current Attorney General will not be that protective of the American public, I fear.
No, he's going to be a lapdog.
And she already is.
Sorry,
She already sits on his lap, it seems.
Yeah. So and she's from Florida. I met her once. She seems to be a nice lady, but she's just listening to everything he said.
Right. Yeah. She's a sycophant.
But definitely. But here's the thing about Barr though. Like he was definitely a supporter of the unitary executive theory, where basically he he believes that the president should be like the main controlling force behind the U.S. government, and probably should secede more against the legislative and the judicial branch, and have the executive branch be the number one government body in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely believes that what's going on with Trump right now, that should be happening. But however, though, he just didn't like the actions of what the president did on January 6th.
Well, if anyone does like those actions, I'm sorry if you're Trump drunk and you still like those actions. You were wrong. You were completely wrong. And don't give me the conspiracy of they opened the doors and they did. You know what? Those American citizens knew exactly what the hell they were doing, and they are wrong. And they're wrong every time you have this conversation. And if you agree with them, you're wrong. You are equally as wrong.
And he pardoned every one of them.
Our capital.
People's house.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
but he pardoned every
single one of them, including the ones that were convicted of hurting people and police officers.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
That's
this is from your law and order president.
Yeah. So and this is why getting to the next thing that we haven't really talked about, but I think it leads into the next thing we got to talk about is the American Party.
Okay.
Is it time for the third party?
It would be interesting to see. It's been tried before without such financial backing, shall we say. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting because you've got a lot of disenfranchised Democrats. You've got a lot of disenfranchised Republicans. So there are people in Congress now on both sides who may choose to join and be represented by that party. Whether that would be a death knell for their careers or not remains to be seen. And whether or not Elon pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
Dang it, Ross Perot is dead. So we can't use him.
Or as Don Imus used to call him, a jug-eared little Martian.
Yeah. American Party possible candidates. Right, Paul?
Interesting. Well, get the guy from North Carolina. Get
Tom Tillis.
Thank you, Tillis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is possible. That Bill Tillis's nephew?
Could be. There are people out there, but I don't think it'll be interesting to see because you've got the midterms coming up, and that's going to be the real bellwether of the 28 election. So right now, it's going to be interesting to see how much of this big, beautiful. First of all, you've got to get this big, beautiful bill back to the Senate after it goes to the House, because I don't think the House is going to
the House is not rubber stamping this.
So
they're kicking the tires and slicing the tires and doing everything they can for it. The House is not. I don't see the House, and if Elon keeps pushing in some of these districts where he's heavy employer,
right.
It's gonna affect how these House of Representatives. I mean, it's gonna. He's got a big presence in Texas.
Oh yeah,
he's got a pretty big presence in Florida.
Oh yeah. And I think possibly California as well. Though he moved everything out of California.
He still has a little bit in California, but I think most of it,
he's moved it all to
went
Texas.
Yeah. So those are key R's that need to vote for this, and if they do, I think Elon's going to, definitely primary them. Whoever they are,
right? If
they go and support this in the areas that he's in.
Well, I hope if he does it, he doesn't pick the 19-year-old Doge employees that went in there and stole all our own. Look, at this point in time,
did they steal it? Really?
Well, kind of it was given to them.
I don't. No. I mean, but did they steal it? I mean, everything I saw from Doge,
right?
I didn't have a problem with some of their most of their cuts that I saw.
No, I wasn't talking about the cuts. I was talking about the information they gleaned.
Oh yeah.
The personal information from the Social Security Administration and things of that nature that allegedly they gleaned out of there. Don't forget, we have our 19-year-old big balls in there.
Yeah, so. And Josh says it has to be someone not in government,
which makes a whole lot of sense, because you can't come in with the baggage. The only one who's in government right now that I kind of like where he's going, and I still think he's a free thinker, is Rand Paul. Right.
I think he does it from a common sense, which is very uncommon.
Well, he learned that from his father.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very uncommon in government.
Right.
To come from a government common sense platform. So I agree. It does need to have a good mixture of government. I don't think it has to be 100% from outside. Right. That's how we ended up with the danger of where we're at with Donald Trump.
Right.
But I think it does need to have a mixture of the two.
Right, because you need some experience. You can't go run a government with all newbies. It's just not going to happen. You need some institutional knowledge.
Well, I can tell you, I had 23 years in government. I'm about 15 years in private right now. Mm-hmm. And having that balance helps me in a lot of different ways. The way the government works, government can never work as a business. It just cannot, because easily. you have so many checks and balances, and you can't have one person making the decision. If you, a guy like Elon Musk, if he says, okay, we're going to go do this, it's going to happen. It doesn't work.
In the private sector.
Yeah, right. In the private sector. If Senator Rick Scott says, hey, we're going to do this, he has to get 51 votes.
Right.
So, I mean, so government just can't work the way private does.
The president, who, throws his weight around very successfully, is doing that, by fiat when it comes right down to it, whether it's legal or not.
Yeah, but it's getting thrown back in his face. And
it's got to keep going.
I mean, and that's the reason, government is made so we don't get too far away from the center.
Correct.
It is properly made so we don't get too far away from the center. The proper way to handle it is Democrats and Republicans, you say, hey, we want to do this. Okay, we're going to have to meet here.
Right.
The problem is they put their feet down, and not a thing happens.
Intransient. Yep.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
So.
And they barely have a conversation.
And I used my own beat button on that one, Blake. Thank you for not having to beat me out of there. But that's part of the problem. I would love to see a third party that actually has some teeth. The problem I've seen with third parties, like when the Tea Party first started, I liked a lot of the stuff. I liked their fair tax stuff. I liked, a lot of their ideas of where they were at on some of those things. The extreme, and this is, I talk about extremism probably way more than I should, but the extremists attached to something new and fresh, like the Tea Party.
Okay.
And then they got over the top and lost their message. And this third party, Libertarian Party, Seemed like a good idea. Also, a fair tax stuff. And then all of a sudden, they had the spaceships coming in and all this other stuff that was over the top. Killed the Libertarian Party.
Right.
It had a little bit of momentum, but then it died off.
But for a national party that's going to take on the established Democrats and Republicans, you can't just be a one-trick pony like fair tax, because that was Tea Party
Agree.
and some of the Libertarians. And once the Tea Party started expanding into other things, once these people got elected, they realized they had to have positions on other things. They couldn't just be a one-tax pony.
Yeah.
So, they had to get past that, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If Elon goes through with this, it will be an interesting dynamic.
Yep. So, all right. We killed American Party there.
Hopefully not yet.
No, not yet. Well, me and Mike have the shirts for the Patriot Party
There you
already,
go.
so we have the logo for that, so we're prepared.
Okay.
All right. What are your? Oh, you erased yours over there.
Well, that's right. Well, I still have.
You had a whole list of stuff.
That's
You
okay.
erased
I
it.
gotta.
Okay. What was your? I have Get Out of Town still out there.
I have noisy hotels in L.A.
Noisy hotels in L.A. That sounds
Loud.
but it's L.A., so I don't give a shit. So Blake, please don't pick that one. What is your other one?
What else do I got going on here? Well, I've got a study that's being caught in the crosshairs between the fight between Donald Trump and Harvard that, if it gets crushed, is going to be a huge, huge waste to humankind.
You know what, Lenny?
Harvard study.
That's all I needed to hear. You gave us the entire freaking story, and all you got to do is say Harvard study.
But that doesn't.
Blake, what are we going to talk about?
Let's go.
Harvard study. Thank you.
No, let's not go with that. I was planning on go. Let's actually go with loud and let's go with the loud story.
Thank you, Blake.
Oh,
this is a simple one. This is an outgrowth of the
screw L.A.
Easy there. Easy
Oh,
there.
I hate L.A. Have you been to L.A.?
Often.
It's the worst city in
Often.
the world. It's horrible.
Often.
It's horrible. You need a tetanus shot every time you come back.
Well, you need a mask to breathe, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I also thought Trump didn't allow face masks. Apparently, I thought apparently he told law enforcement to not use face masks to arrest people that wear face masks, even though their ICE agents are wearing face masks.
Well, that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up, which is very horrible that these people are all masked. It's secret police, and they're afraid of being doxxed. Nobody's going to dox these guys because nobody's going to figure out who the hell they are. First of all, there's thousands of them running around the country willy-nilly with masks on, beating people and throwing them into unmarked cars and disappearing them.
Come on, man. Gosh, dang. You just drinking that Kool-Aid. Sorry, Flavor Aid. Because the media tells you that. Cops.
Not cops. Not cops.
They are cops. ICE agents are cops.
Fine. They're federal agents.
They are law enforcement officers.
Right.
That makes them cops.
They're the federal secret police.
That makes them cops.
Okay. Why are they wearing face masks?
To protect their families and protect themselves against these other criminals. They're not the criminals. You're going against the law enforcement who are going after criminals that protect you.
And if they were picking up only criminals, I'd say that's wonderful.
Okay. How many innocent people do you know that they've picked up?
I don't know anybody that's been picked up, innocent or uninnocent.
I can tell you this. I have 3 people that I know that have been picked up. All 3 of them are guilty. All 3 of them are guilty
of being in the country illegally.
Yes.
Were they criminal other than that? Were they lawbreakers other than that?
That is the law.
Fine.
That is the law. That makes them illegal.
And if you cheat on your taxes, is that breaking the law?
Well,
if you go through a red light, is that breaking the law?
Yeah, but
if you slap your wife, is that breaking the law?
No, there's a difference. Okay, now we're in it. Thank you for that. There's a difference between civil and criminal. That is criminal. That is a criminal offense. Okay. Civil, you get a fine.
You embezzle from your workplace.
Civil, that's stealing.
Fine.
So that's criminal.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you go to jail.
Fine.
Those people go to jail. I don't hear you protecting them.
No.
I don't
Nor
hear
should
you.
I
don't hear you protecting Madoff.
Okay.
Oh, he contributed a lot to this.
He contributed a lot to this country. No.
He contributed a lot to this country when he was here, when he wasn't arrested. We should let him go. No, that's not how it works. They broke the fucking law.
And he died in prison.
Yes, he did.
Right. And he crushed my Mets.
Yes.
More importantly, the bastard.
That's why they should have let him go.
No, you Reds fan.
So no, they're not. They're illegal, and you're busting on the guys who are out there who's doing their job. These guys are doing their job, arresting them. That is their orders that they're doing their job, and they're here legally. The other ones they're arresting are not.
So then you're going to love the loud and noisy hotel story.
Oh, now I got to hear it so I can hate LA even more.
You're going to after this. And the thing
Only
is...
thing good there's In-N-Out Burger, and it's not so great anymore.
Yeah, no, it really isn't.
Well, don't forget about the Lakers as well. Hey,
Screw the Lakers.
Hey,
Screw
by the way,
Dodgers.
Did Shaquille O'Neal... who's the other big guy?
Will Chamberlain?
No.
Magic Johnson?
LeBron James just signed for like $54 million for one more year.
Yeah. It was
58,
it was part of his player option on his last year of his contract.
For how much money?
Like 52.1 million.
Yeah, nice work.
Yeah, he's squeaking by.
Yeah, I know. We got to take a telephone.
He is pretty impressive at his age and still maintaining that ability.
Yep.
I mean, I don't
He is a
particularly
specimen.
I don't
Yeah.
particularly like the guy, but I do think he
He's a
is
hell
the
of a ball
best
player.
individual basketball player that's ever played the game.
And he's starting to slow
Individual
down.
basketball player, and I decided to change that because everyone, talks about how great Michael Jordan is and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron would crush prime to prime. Saw both of them play live. LeBron's huge. Great big men beat great small guys every single time. Every single time. Every sport. It's just the way it works.
It's physics.
It's not David and Goliath here.
It's physics. There
There's
you go.
no slingshots involved. Jimmy Swaggert.
So,
What the hell are we talking about? LA
Right.
hotels.
So, I mean, Josh may be onto something saying that, people get doxxed all the time, but, they're taking a shortcut this way. They're not worried about doxing these people. They're just making them miserable because they found the hotels where the ICE agents are sleeping. Mm-hmm. And there are just parties outside these hotels making all kinds of noise at all hours of the day and night. 3 o'clock in the morning, they're out there with horns and parties and bands and mariachis.
Yeah, that
and
helps.
everything.
That helps your cause, you dumbasses.
Right, exactly.
These are the same people that are burning their own damn city.
Right. And what about the poor schnook who's staying in the hotel that has nothing to do with any of this, trying to get a good night's sleep before he goes to work the next day? So that's a little,
What about the hotel owner who's having to pay all the refunds?
Right. Yeah.
So,
a little counterproductive.
yeah, arrest all their asses.
Yeah, they're probably doing it at a government rate.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, so that's so I guess the masks aren't working if they know where the ICE agents are staying.
They just follow the cars.
Yeah.
Those unmarked black sedans.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think you should taunt the
People with guns?
people with guns and have the authority to use them against you, and you don't have the same authority to use them back.
Right, and can make you disappear.
Yeah.
You'll be one of the 5,000 people sleeping in a cot in an
Sudan.
airport.
Enjoy the Sudan.
Right, exactly. Where now it's legal to send them.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Supreme Court. I used to have such respect for the Supreme Court. I really did.
Yeah. All right. Is that the LA story?
Yeah, that was it. There's just people partying outside the hotels and keeping these guys up because they want them to be tired for whatever reason that is. Because that's what you really want. All these guys that are doing all this to be on their last nerve when they're doing this.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's not working out too well, I don't think, in theory.
Lenny, you've always had respect for the Supreme Court up to this point.
Yeah, I love the Supreme Court.
I love the Supremes.
Yeah.
They have some great hits.
We
Yeah,
saw Diana Ross. That was fabulous.
Oh,
Seeing
she was
Diana
awesome.
Ross, that was
Yeah.
such a great show.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah,
William O. Douglas, my man.
Yeah, but I know.
What do you have over your shoulder? I can't see what that is.
Who's it now?
That's a very bad Neapolitan ice cream. It was supposed to represent ice,
All
kind
right.
of.
That was supposed to be the ice. That
Well, you could've-
was a fail.
Why didn't you put up Vanilla Ice? Ice Baby.
Yeah, you should have left Bonilla up there. All right, go ahead, Blake. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, so
I'm not really sorry, but I did interrupt.
It's all right. I understand. It was a terrible image anyway. So
Yeah, it's still there.
yes, it is.
Okay,
I understand that. But yeah, Lenny. So you always have respect for the Supreme Court, though. Like that. So I didn't grow up like during the time of I wasn't born during when the Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill stuff came up. So
Right?
did you think like Clarence Thomas like even after he was confirmed even after hearing his confirmation speech after his confirmation hearings, did you think that he was going to be like that? Did you think Samuel Alito was going to be like that, or did you think John Roberts was going to be like the person that he was?
I have no problem with Roberts, what he's doing. You know, he swings this way or that way. In my lifetime, the Supreme Court has gotten dramatically more political than translating the Constitution, which is their job. And I don't think they do that, you should pardon the expression, as judiciously as they once did. I think right now they're on teams as well. And the 3 women are one team, and the 6 of them are another team. And every now and again, you get somebody comes over for a play date. Like Amy Coney Barrett will come over and join the liberals, or John Roberts will. Rarely Kavanaugh will. If it's environmental, you'll get Gorsuch.
I like John Roberts. I wish all of them were more like John Roberts, because I believe he is doing what he thinks is right.
I agree,
and that's what they're put in there for, is for what they think is right. A lot of the other ones, you know, it's voting the political line.
And some of the liberal dissents.
The ladies don't go the other way either. So it's going both ways.
Some of the liberal dissents are, you know, every now and again you get a unanimous decision, and it's like, hallelujah.
Yeah.
So that's it. You know, no, the liberal wing is equally as intransient. I have very little respect for Judge Thomas and Judge Alito, because you can tell when the case starts how they're voting when you just read the headline of the case. They hide nothing at oral arguments, and they're, you know, but look, you know, the problem is now Clarence Thomas had to participate for the first time ever. You know, when he moved up the food chain, and I'm not sure, he may actually be the senior justice now.
I think he's not chief, but yeah.
No, but
he might be senior.
Right,
you're right.
No, he's not the chief justice.
Yeah, he might be senior.
But I think he is the senior justice.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody who was appointed before him.
I can't either.
You know?
I mean, because he came in the 80s.
Yeah.
Clarence Thomas is still labeled as associate, and all of them are still labeled as associate. So
right, but he's the longest tenured.
He's the longest tenured, which makes him a senior.
I do believe he is still the longest tenured Supreme Court justice.
All right. All right. I want to talk about Americana, Brazil.
Okay, I'm intrigued by this because I knew nothing of this.
Blake, have you ever heard of Americana, Brazil?
I have never heard of Americana, Brazil.
Okay, so Americana, Brazil, I'm going to slide back to my notes over here. See if I actually clicked on it properly. Nope, I didn't.
Wing it, baby.
But it is a community in Brazil. There it is right there. Where after the Civil War, a lot of Confederates said, screw this, we're not staying in this country. And they seeked asylum in Brazil. They had their own city. They still have their own city to this day, called Americana, Brazil. And they have celebrations, Confederate celebrations, in the country of Brazil. It's south of Sao Paulo. And it's now about 200,000 people.
Okay.
It started with 10,000 people. All right. The entire country of Liberia, I think, was like 15,000 people that we sent there to create its own country.
Right.
We had 10,000 Confederates, and they went down there to start their own plantations. They took
who's doing the work?
They took them with them.
Really?
Yeah. And the people voluntarily went with them.
The former slaves?
Slaves and workers, and I mean, not everyone had slaves. There was other laborers. Yeah. And it was, you know, and some former slaves, they had freedom down there, but they still went with them.
Okay.
And
well, actually, they got paid fine.
Actually, the former slaves were treated better down there than they were here after the Civil War. Well, because of
the fact that, you know, don't turn your back.
Reconstruction was not a beautiful thing here.
No.
But the fact that I didn't know this existed until like this week. I didn't know there was a city called Americana in Brazil. I never heard of it before.
And how did you stumble across this?
Because I was doing some stupid dives on the
American Party?
Immigrations and people seeking refuge.
Okay.
And they still have a celebration every day. I mean, you can look at this. That's right there.
I'm sure the stars and bars are down there.
Yeah. So it's right there painted on the floor, right down there. The stars and bars.
Yeah. Now, I was able to find the former photo of the former flag of Americana. Would you like to see it?
Sure.
Yeah,
Because I'm going to have to go home and do this tonight.
Yeah. So it kind of had its own identity in Brazil, and it was a lot of money went down there with them.
Sure. That's where all the lost gold went.
Yeah, and it could be.
Probably well, yeah.
It could very well be.
That would make a lot of
sense.
sense.
Where the lost gold of the Confederacy might have went in this direction.
Ooh, we could be writing a novel.
It's pretty wild of what happened down there. And let's see, the U.S. Emperor Dom Pedro II of Brazil hoped to plant the seeds of prosperity by importing these self-exiling Southerners. So they were hoping to build up like what the South was before the war.
Okay.
A lot of the crops didn't take. Cotton was eventually had some success, but a lot of these farmers had to find other jobs in Brazil because their crops that they normally grew didn't work in the tropical climate.
So they didn't
most of them were
move to other crops?
Yeah, they did. Okay. They tried, but it was kind of 50-50 of who survived as a farmer.
Okay.
And most of them are from Texas, Alabama, and Georgia, and they sailed to Brazil. So because they saw what was happening in Reconstruction, and they're like, nope, we're out of here.
I suppose Canada wasn't necessarily an option because there's a lot of Confederate sympathizers in Canada during the Civil War and just before the war.
Yeah, because they were kind of bitter towards the U.S. still, but I don't think you could grow the crops in Canada.
No,
that
not
they
growing
thought
cotton up there.
like they thought they could do with the climate.
Well, it makes sense in Brazil.
I don't think the climate matched up. So I think Brazil made the most sense, and Brazil was welcoming to them, and all they had to do was get on the boat and go that way. They didn't have to trek across the country through northern.
They didn't have to go through the Darien Gap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'm looking at the research here, and apparently they did have at one point an official city song.
Oh wow!
Part of the lyrics include the many Confederates brought us the wheelbarrow, watermelon, and cotton, and the plow.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot. It makes I'm shaking a lot. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I thought John Deere invented the plow.
Yeah, but they took it. He did.
Right.
But they took the plow to Brazil.
Okay.
They didn't know it existed.
In Brazil.
So.
Gotcha.
So.
In the 1850s. Okay.
Actually, I just looked it up as well. It's apparently Charles Newbold was the first guy that they created like a version of it, but then John Deere was the first guy with first one developed it for commercial uses.
Mm-hmm. Painted it green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, it's one of those wild.
That's wacky. I'm gonna play with that tonight when I get home because far be it from me to find a rabbit hole that I've never delved down into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're talking about a lot of the tombstones born in Texas died in Brazil. A lot of the tombstones that are in that city.
Okay, interesting.
So,
right.
Yeah. So I just didn't know that this was a thing, and it was such a prevalent thing. It wasn't like 100 people. It wasn't like. I think we talked about
say 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah.
So like the Pilgrims, it was like 149 or something like that. All right. Yeah. We talk about them all the damn time.
Well, it was a smaller boat.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. Right. And this one was many boats.
Right.
It was
probably steamships. It was
a lot. It was a lot of trips.
Yeah, I don't know. They were sailing. It might have been.
And there's a monument there for the first families who settled Americana.
Okay.
So they're showing the bees. Like there is no Blevins is in there. So, but there's Ayers, Baird, Bankston, Bainsley, Barr, Bentley, Bookwalter, Bowen, Broadmex, Britt, Bryant, Buford. Of course, there's got to be a Buford.
Of course.
Burton, Caps, Carlton, It only shows this one section. It goes to the D's. But I mean, it shows the list of all the different families.
So when is Jefferson Davis Day?
I don't know.
I'm sure they have one.
I don't know. I'm sure it's probably Robert E. Lee. Jefferson Davis fell out of favor at the end of the war. Okay. So because he went on the run, and that's who they think actually had this gold.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it'll turn up eventually.
but I didn't know this existed. So
No.
I was like, so I'm gonna have to. I only read the one article, but I'm gonna have to go back and do a little deeper dive on Americana.
Yeah.
So and I want to see your.
I'm going to look up. I'm going to play with it tonight. Hey, Bobby, Roman Gabriel, the quarterback? Bobby put something in there. Sounds similar to The Undefeated with John Wayne, Rock Hudson, and Roman Gabriel, a North Carolina State University graduate. Roman Gabriel was quarterback of the Rams forever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a North Carolina guy.
Neither did I. I didn't know he was in a movie with John Wayne.
All right.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Roman Gabriel was in Undefeated.
Okay. Well, that's what Bobby said. I believe Bobby.
So
I believe Bobby.
guys, guess what? We're out of time.
Goodness.
We got to go to trivia.
Oh, shit, yeah.
We got to go to trivia at Sonny's. You guys, if you want to be one of the cool kids, we'll see you at Sonny's in about an hour. This is Bollocks this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Blunk.